live in.
Try and get this phone a little more stable here.
Yeah, we
Hopefully,
got we got people in the chat making fun of Herbie. Yeah.
he
Well, we are
deserves it.
live, I believe. According
Nice.
to at least according to this, we are live. So it is good to see everyone. It's a little late start today. Um, we had Herbie who kind of got stuck behind doing his hair, and then I think Brandon is
Doing his
building a.
hair.
Yeah, yeah. He had to put extra hair gel in it today. Uh,
Hmm.
yes, and then I think Brandon is building a new PC because he decided to kill one. But with that being said, it's good to see everyone in the chat. We are live again. Apologies for being late. We got some new guests. Well, Andy, you aren't a new guest technically. You've been on here a couple times. Uh,
Yes, sir.
so great to have you back. But I'm sure we're gonna have a bunch to talk about today. But the new
Hmm.
guest today is Geronimo Designs. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, well, thank you.
Glad to be here.
Shout out Geronimo. Actually, you commented on our last episode, and you're like, "Yo, totally talk about building this track." And I was like, "Well, okay, let's figure it out then." So,
Heck yeah.
really excited to have you on. Just from a, I mean, we were talking before, and I mean, it didn't take you very long to start talking way above what my head could even under comprehend when it comes to building tracks and stuff. But no, like it's going to be great to just ask questions about someone that has the opportunity not only to work with FD on this kind of level, but also, I just find so. Little quick side quest, real quick. I like to play like crafting survival games where you get to build like cool buildings and stuff. So this is why I find this really interesting because
Heck
I think it'd
yeah.
be really fun to build like cool tracks and stuff too. Just a personal, uh, fun thing that I like to do.
You talking
But
about Minecraft?
yeah, maybe just a little bit. Um, but yeah, I know. And for me, it's just been a busy week. But I'm glad that we got someone that actually has driven the track. So I'll be excited to hear Andy's thoughts on it.
I know. I've
But
been looking forward to
heck yeah,
talking to the drivers.
yeah. So with that being said, guys, Geronimo, why don't you give people the 100-foot view of you real quick? What do you do when it comes to track design, and what is Geronimo Designs?
Basically, I have a background in aerospace CAD design and laser scan. I've 15 years in laser scan, reverse engineering. Um,
Before you go further, what job does that entail? Like
uh,
a regular job. Like what is that even? What would you
so,
do? What would you do that for?
um, my job title, my career has been a metrology engineer. So precision measurement of aerospace components. So I use laser trackers, laser scanners, things like that to inspect tooling that they use to repair airplane components for like A320neo, Airbus, Boeing's, 787s, 767 inlets, fan cowls, and thrust reversers.
So a little
So
bit more high end than say a drift car, you would say.
a little bit. I don't. I don't know. Uh, Suspension, man, that stuff gets pretty technical. But yeah, that's just what my background is CAD. Like CAD design. Um, so it kind of like worked hand in hand with the game design stuff. It was just a little bit of a learning curve. It took me about 5 years to crack the code, but I
Yeah.
think I got it figured out.
So what kind of tracks do you make, and like obviously, is it just a Seto you make tracks for, and like what kind of take me in quick into what you do for a Seto?
With a setup, like I think like everybody kind of has their like niche. Like I would say like Perma, he focuses like on a lot of Japanese tracks, faint visuals.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of grassroots stuff. Um, I try to focus more on the like high end comp tracks. Um, and I have a thing about realism. And my background being in metrology, like I'm all about accuracy. I want it to be an accurate representation of what the drivers are going to face when they're actually out there. And how I got into all this was I started designing tracks. I got really, decent at realism.
Yeah.
And Chris Jackson with US Drift Circuit, me and all the boys at ACS, we rented an Airbnb. We decided to meet one another because we were already hanging out every day in the voice chat.
Right.
Um, we went to the Airbnb down in Florida, and we went to Sebring for a prospect round of US Drift Circuit. And I made a replica of the line that they ran.
Yeah.
And that's really where it all started.
Wow. Yeah. So, what are some of the tracks that you have now that you've made outside of obviously Long Beach?
I have a Sebring. I made Kern, but that one got taken down. It'll be coming back though. Twin Falls, Orlando. I made OSW for OSW Drift. Um, Magic Valley, a whole bunch of CNDS comp layouts for those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, NOLA. NOLA is like one of my big ones. New Orleans.
Gotcha. So, obviously,
LZ Compound. Oh my God, that's the
oh,
big one.
yeah. Yeah, that's probably is the big one. So,
Yeah.
obviously, FD announces. Gosh, when did Long Beach? Andy, do you remember when FD announced that they were? Or I guess they never really did announce Long Beach until like pretty far into the season.
Yeah. Yeah, I want
Um,
to say around halfway through, at least, even if not later than that. It was
yeah,
always just a TBA, SoCal TBA is what it said on the schedule.
right. So I guess I'm trying to figure out a timeline real quick from you, Geronimo. Obviously, they dropped that video of Long Beach. No, I think they did drop the video of Long Beach.
Yeah,
didn't
round
they?
one.
At
Round
Long
one.
Beach, was it? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Never mind then.
Yeah, but when did they reach out to you in terms of doing the Assetto version of it? Because the first question everyone asked was, "Why is this not on Assetto?"
I
Which
know.
I assume it was a time thing, but
That and like how it all came together. I got to give a shout out to Chris over at SimHQ, and he kind of helped put everything. He put the places, the pieces together, and got everyone connected to make this all happen. Um, I actually, once they announced that it was going to come back to Long Beach, I went to work on recreating everything just to be ready whenever we could dive further into it. So 7 months total on having the base. I pulled the laser scan in of
yeah,
Long Beach because the big deal was light poles. How are the drivers gonna how are we gonna come up with a layout when we have permanent light poles in the lot?
right.
So I already knew that was
And
gonna be
don't
the
you
issue.
legally have to be a certain distance away from them as well?
Yeah, I reached out to Kevin and asked him, I'm like, hey, what are the safety engineers? What are they telling you guys as far as safety buffers? What are my distances from the wall to the light pole? What I'm allowed? And there was a safety buffer of 3 inches from light pole base to the wall. And then they had a design and they had the blueprints for the layout that the Long Beach Grand Prix provided.
Yeah. Do you want me to pull up the things you sent me and
Sure,
kind of
sure.
explain those?
And
Cause are these the first things that they sent you in terms
no,
of?
I actually created these for them after I got the Grand Prix blueprints.
So
Um,
let me switch it so you guys can see what we're looking at. All right. So, uh, is there a version that you want me to look at first?
yeah, let me see if I can locate it. Kevin Wells sent it to me, and it had that. What you saw is the animation.
Yeah.
They basically had that on the blueprint version of the track.
Gotcha. And that's what you base this off of?
Well, I based that off of a ton of testing with like drivers, and we were trying to get a like decent layout together, and it was like one of the later renditions. Whenever I find this old blueprint and show it to you, you can be like, oh man, it really changed a lot. Um,
Oh, did you send it over?
yeah, I'm looking for it right now. I've got files everywhere.
Gotcha. I just noticed you sent a bunch more stuff over. So we'll
Oh,
check
that's
out
the yeah.
3D
One of
renderings and
those is
stuff.
the lidar scan of
Oh, that'll be
that
cool.
lot. I just took a screenshot of it.
But so when you got, so what did they give you per se? Like when you were first trying to figure out stuff.
They just gave me a blueprint, and their original layout that they had, which was represented by the animation,
Yeah.
and I think they wanted us to like design that layout for Assetto and give them like a video clip of what it looked like, so they'd have a better idea. But we found out really quickly that cars don't move that way. Like
Right.
that
Obviously.
final that final turn, man, was so tight. It was a 180 turn, and I forget what the radius of it was, but there was no way you're coming out of the fastest zone, zone 2, immediately going into a 180 turnaround. Dude, what's the angle you guys were going to have to throw? It was going to already just slow you to a crawl.
Right. And that's kind of the thing. So I'll pull it up right here. So you're talking about the final zone, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, at the time, it was the zone right before the final zone
That was the
for the
final zone.
animation. Yeah,
Oh, that's
it
right.
was.
You're right. Yeah, you guys added another corner in there.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Hey, B.
So what?
Hi, Brandon.
So what? Why did you guys decide to add the corner? Like, kind of talk me through. I guess the rendition process. Because did you guys talk to drivers while you were making this, or? I mean, obviously you've
I,
made other tracks before, so you kind of knew what people would look
I
for. But
already knew what, like, as far as dimension wise goes, like,
yeah,
and radial dimensions were concerned, what were optimal things that we were looking for. But we also had to navigate driver safety, telephone pole clearance.
right.
Um, and originally, I had what I thought was the best layout we could have possibly had. And like literally 24 hours before sending it over to FD, I realized I missed a telephone pole in the laser scan, and it
Oh,
was no shit, dead nuts, right in the middle of the run. So we had
dang.
to, yeah, it was a huge deal. Um, Here we go. I found one of the original designs and the blueprint designs.
Gotcha. Yeah, that'll be good to see. Um, well, while he's finding that, Andy,
Mm-hmm.
when they said that we were driving basically the parking lot of Long Beach, what did you think? Were you excited? Were you happy? Were you like a little worried? Were you like indifferent?
Um, I wasn't worried. I wasn't excited. No, I was excited for the new track. But I thought it was just like a little lame, I guess, to go back to Long Beach again. Um, but I mean, without Irwindale, it's definitely, I think, the most viable option to get Formula Drift into a major metropolitan area, and have it be successful. I was a little surprised because I know setting up a track like Long Beach is a lot more expensive than say, running Irwindale where they bring out, a couple of K rails and that's the track.
Yeah.
Whereas, you're building a lot of walls, a lot of infrastructure going into it. You have to worry about where the people coming in, where they exiting, where the grandstands are, where they're going to park. It's a whole lot to take on when you compare it to a track like Irwindale that's got a big parking lot. The track is laid out. All the walls, majority of the walls are permanent. I didn't see it coming, to be honest. I thought we were going to end up, I was hoping we were going to end up at Sonoma, to be honest,
Right.
because I love Sonoma. It's one of my favorite
I heard,
sections.
I heard
Yeah,
that.
yeah. The Summer Jam section when you come up over the hill, that's like such an awesome section of track, and I think it
Maybe
would make
next
great for
year.
a competition. The grandstands are there. There's plenty of parking. It ticks all the boxes. But I guess FD really wanted to be in SoCal, so it just became what it is. And
Mhm.
after driving it, I'm pretty stoked on it. Track flows really well. It's going to be next to New Jersey. I think it's going to be one of the best tandem tracks of the year. Just the way it's laid out, and that there's no real pinch points. There's no it's laid out like what I'm used to driving on a Assetto, which is majority outside zones, long sweeping corners, just stuff that makes for really good tandem. So yeah, I'm stoked on it. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we got Brandon making it in the stream. Made it in before Herbie, so that's always a win.
Slacker.
Yep. Big
Yeah,
dubs. He's out getting hair gel.
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
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 All
But
right.
obviously you've now, I guess we can publicly talk about you as well, Brandon. Uh, Driving the track and stuff. You guys, we have a video that you did on Instagram. Let's see if I can find it. It's in one of my many pages. Yeah, here it is. So from your perspective, Brandon, when the
Mhm.
reel restarts, because we'll let it restart.
Go to the
me-
next one and go back. I think that resets it.
How do I do? Oh,
The arrows.
there's no arrows. Oh, they're on the
There's
side.
air.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, look
Go
at
back.
those.
Look at
Look
my
at those
Sims. So
beautiful
great. So
Sims.
beautiful. So
All
great.
right.
All right. There we go.
All right, talk us through this, buddy.
What do you mean talk? I can't talk through it. It's going too fast.
You did it in the reel.
I mean, with
Just
the
don't
script in
suck. Is
front
that
of
the
me,
answer?
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, don't suck. No, I love this track. I think it's one of the best tracks on FD right now, and I'm curious, as per usual, if it should translate straight over because lidar and one to one and all that good stuff. But I think this track will promote some really, really good tandems and some really,
Yeah.
really good driving because there's not really any places for you to try to drive away or run away from people. It's just all business, outside zones, good angle, like hanging it out there. Um, Reese Marin, the judge, has been a big proponent of row lining it, and I think this track very much sums that up because you're just hanging it out nice and wide. Yeah, I think it's one of. We'll see, but I think it will be one of the best tracks on the calendar this year for sure.
Yeah. I give it up to like B. Like I didn't do this by myself. Like when it comes to the layout, that is not on me. Like I can't say it enough. Like Brandon, Alan Hines, Brandon Patrick, like these dudes helped me tremendously because I could not go to the FD drivers. Like that was the one thing. Like I couldn't let them know what it was going to be beforehand. They wanted to make sure that. So like,
Interesting.
yeah, they didn't want anybody to have any kind of unfair advantage. So they wanted to make sure it was all legit, and we kept it really tight knit. And so I relied on Brandon and the boys, like, and that my ACS guys, like, we covered a range of drivers from like novice to the absolute best of the best sim drivers, and BDC drivers, Craig and dude, they helped me get the layout to what it ended up being for sure.
All right, so I'm gonna throw a bunch of these pictures together because you're gonna have to explain to me what the heck you sent, because you sent about 10 things.
Yeah. Oh, that's Chelsea DeNova's rendition, the one with the green line.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, and
What?
so
Just two corners?
he wanted a like this double apex style thing, but
Hmm.
Let me grab that one other piece. I'm like trying to figure out how in the world I'm gonna show a bazillion different pictures, so we can kind of piece
Yeah.
together what we're looking at here.
and that's kind of how all this, like Chris, he put the meat together. The Sunday after OSW, I spent like 8 hours over at the LZ compound, and with Adam and Reese was there, and then
Yeah.
Chris Forsberg, Denova, Chris Lykup from Sim Magic,
Yeah.
Heroa, Connor. Man, there were so many people there.
So kind of take me through. So which picture should we be looking at first here, and kind of take me through some of the stuff. So like you said, this one in the middle here with the green line is Denofa's basically rendition.
It's an interpretation of Denova. Well, so Denova, and hangs out at the LZ compounds
Right.
some, and Chris told me that, like, whenever he was there last, he had kind of sketched out like a layout he wanted to see if I could make happen. And Chris was just trying to like show me what Denova told him, but he kind of wanted like a double apex entry, or second turn be a double apex.
Yeah.
But we ran out of room, and then light poles really became an issue.
Gotcha.
So that kind of went out the window.
So that's why we didn't use this one.
Yeah.
For example, was this one? This one looks like kind of the problem you were having, which was this. I guess what it was the last corner originally. Now the second to last corner.
So
that
if
looks
you
like
go
a
back
really
to,
tight corner.
Yeah. If you go back to your big screen with all of them,
Yeah.
you see the one at the very bottom in the middle?
Yeah.
That is the original design from Formula Drift, like that Kevin sent me.
Okay.
So we knew there were four things. Well, there were two things really like that were certain. They had four grandstands that were, and this is where they were going to be, give or take 50 feet forward to back. Like I could move them if I needed to. And tires, what you see in red are tire walls, like tire barriers for safety.
For the light poles.
Yeah, some of them, and some of them are just for like driver runoff.
Okay.
So those are squares are like around some of the light poles. So that's what they started with, and then once I brought the LiDAR in, I could see exactly where the light poles were. That's whenever I went to work trying to put this down,
because this
and
layout,
get it in the sim.
This layout would not flow at all. Doesn't look
No,
like
no, that's what we found out pretty quickly. Like, yeah, Zone 2 looks awesome, but dude, whenever you come out of that into that 180,
yeah,
it was brutal.
Did you make a track like this and test drive it or no?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was bad.
It was, dude. We knew like really fast, like, oh shit, drivers are gonna have some trouble with, like, this is gonna be difficult. We need to do something.
Gotcha. So
It also just doesn't look great. And second to last corner looks abysmal. Go to a standstill.
Is this picture on the upper left? Is this another same rendition, basically?
Yeah, that's another rendition, but the red is like an indicator of where they wanted some wall, like where they wanted the. You know how Long Beach you have a ton of the block walls.
Yeah.
available. They were just kind of showing me where they wanted to implement the block walls.
Gotcha. Was there any talk about possibly doing curved walls around corners or no?
Yep, yep. Me and Kevin talked about that. It's the curve walls. They didn't know for sure how much linear footage of those walls they had available. So just for we're already under a time crunch, and
Right.
it's like, you know what, we'll just
So if we come back next year, it could be a thing that they might want to do next year and just do a full
oh
walled outer zone.
yeah, definitely.
Interesting. All right, that's good to know. Let's go to. I think. Oh, so we looked at that one already. So this is where you started doing the LiDAR scans and stuff. So kind of
Yeah.
talk me through some of these pictures and kind of what are we. Talk me through quick, like if you can, real quick in like layman's terms. What is the LiDAR process first of all? Is it just like you're using a drone, right?
No, that's photogrammetry.
Okay.
Photogrammetry is it's super accurate. Walter Bose
Yep.
does a lot of photogrammetry. He's good with it. This is a LiDAR point cloud that I've segmented. So it's captured by airplane. And
Wow.
they use probably a Leica transponder and 3 ground stations. The ground stations basically assure you that what you're capturing is accurate, and it's a laser that's sending a signal out. And it's think of you got the laser, which is the LiDAR, but it's data that's backed up by radar. So not only do you have the laser like sending the signal and getting the return, you also have the radar that's pinging it as well. So it's like a really accurate way of capturing elevation data and ground detail. And you see the returns; those are
Yeah.
they look like spikes coming out of the ground,
Right.
right? That's a light pole. The light pole portion of that is
Oh.
actually in the between the 2 returns.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because you think about an airplane going over something and scanning. When it goes over a light pole that's shaped like a branches off like a Y,
Yeah.
it doesn't know that there's nothing below that light.
Gotcha.
So that's how I knew exactly where the light poles were.
Gotcha. Interesting. So you were saying, I think you told me beforehand, you had to build this track entirely from scratch. There wasn't no using some stuff from the other Long Beach track that's on Assetto. Like you had to do all of this, basically build it from scratch, if that's correct.
Yeah, so I wanted it to be accurate, and I didn't want to step on anybody's toes. So even though I did use like textures and things from all over the place, I basically utilized a SketchUp source of student data. Like, I guess in SketchUp training, there's this phenomenal source out there where they're teaching, like, they call it BIM or BIM modeling. It's architectural modeling. And one of the things is like, they'll make a model of a building that's a like true to life model. And then because it's used as a training aid to teach something, those people just put that stuff online for anybody to use however you want to use it. That's where I got if I had to make every one of the buildings by hand from scratch, I never would have finished it. So I
Right.
just pulled in, I used it as
A
an
bunch of
asset
assets
pack.
from there and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So the ground is all me, but I grabbed a whole bunch of,
Assets to make it kind of look alive and stuff.
yeah, just about like, I think all the buildings except for like handmade probably 4 buildings, and the rest are student source models.
Very cool. So, I guess obviously you get somewhat of a design down. You have some testing. Obviously, you guys figure out that first layout doesn't work. When do you start bringing in other voices? Like you said, you talked to Chelsea Denofa. You guys talked to Hines. Um, when things started getting finalized, like when did you like start actually like testing the track and getting like final okay and stuff? Like how long ago did FD be like, okay, this works and this is what we're gonna do, kind of thing?
They were really cool to work for, man. Like, so right off the jump, when we showed them like, hey, your original layout isn't going to work that well. We had already, working with Chris, had another layout that we put together, and we were able to send them a video, like, and some overhead shots. We're like, hey, I know this is what you wanted in the beginning, but what do you think about this?
Yeah.
And they were like, we love it. We don't know why we didn't think of that turn being that way, but it obviously works. And with the advancements in sim, like, it's, you get a reliable interpretation of how the car is going to react in certain situations. So we already had like a backup plan and another layout to show them.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of went to fine tuning what we could do, and like utilizing Brandon and those guys, man, to really get it dialed in. And everything about it is in purpose built. Kevin also, he would let me know what he wanted. Like, he wanted the start gate to be exactly 100 feet from the crosswalk in blue. I can't remember what the name of the street was.
Yeah.
And he said, like, we want to keep the cars tight coming into initiation. So that's got to be there. And it took a lot of testing to get that first zone. Like, it's almost, you can almost back into it, but it's definitely a momentum zone after you flick into it.
Well, the thing I just noticed Brandon right away is you drive 20 feet outside the gate area, and it seems like you're already starting initiation, or at least starting to manji into initiation. Do you think people are going to be that crazy, or was that just for fun, Brandon?
That's a Assetto thing, because
Okay.
big thing in Assetto is I don't know the science behind it, but the tires don't really grip, or the cars don't really grip out of the hole like a real life car would.
Yeah.
So you kind of have the luxury of just powering over and the rear end's kicking out,
Yeah.
and it's just easier to weight transfer into that corner like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. Like, it's essentially like if there were like a bubble there, like in Utah, it'd be the same sort of strategy, I guess, to initiate into the corner.
Do you
So
think a bubble makes sense at this track?
no, 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 it doesn't make sense on any track. I mean, it could be there and it's cool and it makes a little less like worry about what the dude in front of you is going to do, but I think it should be open either way with how you initiate.
Yeah. Well, I just threw Andy up on the screen. So, Andy, how would you attack like a corner like this? Because that is the one part where I saw when I saw even Brandon driving, I was like, that's probably the most, I don't know if awkward is the right word, but just it's going to be probably the most challenging part of the track is initiation, would you say, or no?
Yeah, it's pretty challenging. It took a while to kind of get it, but like, yeah, if you flick really hard and kind of don't hold back on your initiation. It works really well. And with most of the zones on this track, I noticed that you kind of want to be set before you enter the zone and be sort of on throttle through the zone, which makes a lot of sense. But basically, like every zone, it almost seems like, realistically, you should be in that exact spot, 20, 30 feet before you even enter the zone, and you should be settled and on throttle. The initiation, yeah, it was kind of awkward at first, but like if you flick hard and you do it right, then it works. It's just a little tricky, I'd say. But yeah, I did quite a few laps last night, and I kind of got into a groove where I was just hucking it like super hard into the first corner. And if you do it, if your timing's right, you end up right, tire on the line in the zone with a lot of angle, and you can carry that angle through most of the zone, taking out a little bit towards the end because the track kind of picks up speed. But not incredibly challenging. I want to see what it's like in real life. I'm trying to find something to compare it to.
I heard people saying Ferropolis. Brandon doesn't really agree with that.
Yeah, I don't.
No, not initiation. No.
That's funny y'all say Ferropolis because the night that me and Alan Hines talked, like, his dad is like a legend at designing track stuff. So he was a huge help with this. He was basically, and Zach O'Sullivan too, man. Like, they were talking about the radiuses of those zones. And he literally pulled up the blueprints for Ferropolis, and we were looking at them. So it's definitely different than Ferropolis, I would say.
Interesting. I mean, what people see is they see the squares around the corners, and it just reminds you of Ferropolis, how it's basically a square around the corners, with the walls and everything.
Yeah, I was wondering where they tied
I
together.
still don't see it.
But
It's a bunch of concrete walls near the beach, so that's what.
Right.
Yeah. It's like corners near water. It's like Ferropolis.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah.
No, what I'm excited for is it looks like, and I don't know if this is the correct term. I mean, I would say New Jersey's probably still the easiest track to drift in FD.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this doesn't look like a hard track once you get it.
No.
The initiation, I think, is the hardest part, and then the final zone is actually a little difficult because it's kind of an awkward transition from what is that, outer zone 3 to outer zone 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think there's going to be a decel zone there or no?
I don't know about decel, but we're going to be pouring on a lot of angle to set the car up. If you don't, then you're not doing what I said earlier, like starting and getting settled before the zone. But if you bring a lot of angle out of outside zone 3 and kind of get the car set right, and then get, way over to the left, then you can throttle into that zone rather than come straight at it, and then slow down in the zone itself. But it's kind of, it's like any new track. Like it's going to be tricky at first. Like every single track takes time to figure out.
And then no rubber's ever been put down here before. So the fun part's going to be seeing how grip changes throughout the weekend as well. Yep.
And there's definitely going to be some surface changes there. Are we going over the concrete at all? Because it's
that was another thing.
Yeah.
From talking to Jeff Jones and Ron Charpentier about it, that part was tough because I couldn't let all the guys know like what I was making, but I had access to like Nick Novak was, dude, huge thanks to those guys, man. Like they let me know like, hey, that concrete, Jeff Jones was telling me the concrete on their street when it's dry, you go from it's kind of slick till you hit the asphalt in the lot, and then you're super gripped up. But if it rains, the concrete gets grippy as hell, and then the asphalt becomes ice. So there is going to be a grip change for sure.
Yeah. And that's like off of initiation, right? Or at what point does it switch? I'll switch back over to...
Yeah, it's right after initiation.
Gotcha. So they're basically entering on on the you said asphalt and then it goes to concrete?
No. They'll be entering on the concrete because that road is like ribbed concrete, I believe.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, where B is driving right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's concrete. So you'll be going from concrete to asphalt.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, I had it backwards.
Yeah, this will all be concrete. I think that's a patch. And then right about there, you'll start hitting asphalt.
Interesting. Yeah, and so when I guess Andy, when you go to a new track, what's kind of the first things you're kind of looking at? What um like I guess trying to go back, have you ever had a chance has there ever been a track where you haven't driven before in FD before you got there and but then you had obviously a Seto to try and learn it?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I said I wasn't around forever, and I've been doing this
Right,
for a
exactly.
long
That's what I
time.
was
So yeah, a lot of it was just figuring it out. Typically, I'd watch, the best drivers do it, watch them figure it out, and then get
right.
an idea of what to do.
Yeah. But like I'm
Yeah,
talking like in
that's
the modern era when you had a Seto. Has there been a track? I'm trying to even think.
not that we haven't been able to practice on first with the sim. I don't think.
Yeah, I'm
I
just
don't
thinking
remember when they.
because you've
Yeah,
driven
because I
pretty much
also.
everywhere.
Yeah, and I only really got into Assetto in 2020, I think it was, during COVID.
Yeah.
So like the St. Louis track changed before, I
Yeah.
got into Assetto. Like a lot of it was figuring stuff out. Fortunately with St. Louis, like we run with ProSpec and ProSpec usually practices first so we can go and hop in the stands and get an idea of
Right.
what the track flow is like and what not to do and what to do. Um, but I mean, with approaching any sort of new track, it's just get out there. In Assetto, and I get out there, I get a rhythm. Normally, I'll concentrate on the track in sections, so I will drive the whole track, but I'll really only stress myself out over a certain section of it. If we're taking the new Long Beach, for example, like I wouldn't worry about the rest of the track. I would run it to get a feel for it, but I wouldn't worry about being perfect anywhere except like the initiation, filling outer zone one. And then, I would transition that to not really caring about my initiation at that point because you kind of got it down. It's kind of muscle memory at that point, and then just stressing out over, say, outer zone two and entering outer zone three proper. And then not stressing about, filling outer zone three completely or putting the tire on the line the whole time. And I just keep sort of working my way through the track to where each section I find, what to do and how to maintain, consistency in those areas, and then I'd string it all together. And then I have a rule of mine where as soon as I get on the sim, no practice, no warm up, no anything, I hop on that track. If I can do 10 laps and fill all the zones, obviously not 100% perfectly, but run a
Right.
really good line, as good as I possibly can. I'm not James Dean or nothing,
Yeah.
but run a really good line, fill all the zones, no major mistakes. If I can do that 10 laps in a row after just hopping on it whenever, then I'm ready for competition, basically. And I think the last one in Salt Lake City, I love that track and I was already pretty used to it. I think I did like 25 laps that I was like super proud of. And at that point I was just got bored. So I started doing dumb stuff, and that's when you make mistakes,
Right.
but if you're just sort of staying in the zone, staying consistent, not over driving your own abilities or the car, then it's not too hard to put together a decent lap after isolating each zone and figuring it out, and making sure that you have that muscle memory for each section of the track, and at that point you can basically drive with your eyes closed.
100%. Yeah.
Andy, I have a question.
Yo.
When you're running Long Beach round one and you're going into the final zone, do you ever notice like a grip change when you come around? I guess what is that? The third
the
zone into the final?
Yeah, the hairpin or whatever. Not really, because we're not going through there at a consistent speed. We're kind of checking up on speed out as we're entering it and finding the car settle like right in the middle of that, pavement to concrete change. So I think we'd feel it more like if it was in the middle of, say, outer zone 3, along the wall, like that big long sweeping corner. If you're going through pavement changes and the car is settled and you're just doing your thing, you would notice it more. But since you're transitioning and decelling and going into this tight section with a lot of speed and trying to check up on the car and manage your speed, I really don't notice it that much. I haven't driven it in the wet, but from people that have driven it in the wet, I heard it was a major issue. I have driven some concrete tracks in the wet. I drove PIR way back in the day, and their straightaway was concrete, and the track itself was all asphalt, and that straightaway was super sketchy. You could the car was, it felt like you had a lot of grip, and then once it broke, it just felt like nothing. It wasn't a consistent transition from grip to slip, basically. Whereas, on the track itself, I had a blast driving in the rain there. But the straightaway and the little chicane they have in the middle of the straightaway was just damn near undrivable. So I can see where, concrete could have its issues. And there's so many different, like, varying, grits of concrete that you're going to find out there, and depending on what they use to make the concrete, how thick of the aggregate they put into the concrete, all these things can play into how the concrete at the elevation change, how smooth it is, where the puddles are going to, collect and stuff like that. There's a lot of variables there to what you get in a situation with concrete. But for the most part, I love driving in the rain as long as it's a consistent amount of wetness, like that perfect, right after it rains and, the track is just perfectly, covered, and there's no little dry spots. There's no extremely wet spots with deep water. Then it's a whole lot of fun. But yeah, unfortunately, a lot of situations, it ends up, with puddles, or you end up with, surface changes and stuff like that can really sort of throw you for a loop. One being like where the rubber is laid down too has a lot to do with it. Like when we drove St. Louis in the rain this year, that was not fun. Coming out of it was kind of decent, and then as soon as you exited I guess it's outer zone 2 and start to leave the concrete barrier there and go to outer zone 3, it just turned completely to ice. Like it was like driving in the snow for approximately like 30-40 feet, and then it would grip up again. But that's the spot where everyone's lighting off. They get into that zone, and then you light off and you throttle hard. So there's a ton of rubber on that section of the track that just turns it into figure skating basically. So there's just a lot that kind of goes into it. But I mean, like, pavement's consistent, if there's not a whole lot of rubber in the areas, like, it's a lot of fun. But those inconsistencies, I think, are what make it so difficult and what make us drivers complain about it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather be in like my daily driver car in the wet than a pro car, to be honest. Like, I have a lot more fun with 200 horsepower and crappy suspension and all that stuff. That's a lot of fun. That's more fun than a pro car in the wet, is something that's slow. But the pro cars, you just got to figure out a way to manage it. You're
raw power, dude.
On a ice rink basically. So it's it's definitely difficult. It's a big challenge, but it's never bothered me. It might. I also never drove Long Beach. That looked like the worst track ever, like Long Beach, the version 1 or whatever, that one year when it rained. That just looked like the worst situation. I don't know if you remember too, all the drivers voted to not do qualifying that day and do it the next day because it was so bad. I think like Jeff Jones I was spotting for him at the time. He was managing it pretty well, but he was literally in second gear the whole time. That's just how he drove it, with like, I don't know, 70, 60 mile per hour wheel speed, and he was able to connect the whole track.
That's crazy.
And there's some knowledge to that. Like, I heard through someone that James, Dean said something like that, like when it rains, like just drop a gear, because then you're not overspinning the wheels. You're not going to get in that situation where you gotta get on gas, but you're trying to not raise the RPMs too high to overspin the wheels, because then one, you're going to go nowhere, and then two, when you lift off, it's going to snap you right around. So managing wheel speed in the wet is extremely important. But I mean, the wet, like you could have a wet setup, you could do all that, but I mean, like the track changes as well. Like in Atlanta this year when I was battling Odie, the entry was still really wet, but the rest of the track was pretty gripped up, and I misjudged how much grip there was up at the top of the hill, and threw too much angle too early, and it didn't slide out to the zone and sort of fill that outside zone at the top of the hill like I wanted it to. It just sort of cut me down to the inside, and I was like, well, there's a lot of grip up here now. And even between runs that can change. Tracks dry out quick, especially when it's hot outside. And if there's elevation to it, obviously the water's going to run off. You're going to have a very thin layer of water on the track, and it's going to disappear relatively quickly. So like those patchy conditions are like, that's just the most difficult situation ever, because you can't change your setup midway through the run. You can't reconnect your sway bar or raise or lower your tire pressures or re-gear your car, in the midst of a run. So you kind of got to pick one and hope for the best, check your weather app and figure out what it's going to be like, in 20, 30 minutes when you go into battle. And sometimes that's difficult to figure out. Right. The weather stuff is not too accurate a lot of the times. So, you find yourself in a situation where you're like, all right, well, we gripped up the car, for the dry, or we loosened it up, or we did this, or we did that. And then you get out there and it's a completely different situation. So, it's rain's a weird one, man. It's a whole lot of fun, or it's like your worst enemy.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm praying. Yeah, dude. I'm hope. I'll be out at Long Beach for this. Like, I hope it doesn't rain. I want to see you guys tear it up.
Don't say that.
Nope, can't say it.
Now that you said it, you hope it's gonna come down on us.
Gosh darn it.
Yeah, Brandon, I was gonna ask, gearing wise, you have estimations on kind of what you think wheel speed based on driving other tracks?
Sim stuff is always like 10 to 15 miles an hour more, just because you can. Yeah. So this car with the new VDC data and a supercharged V8, it was I was running.
Let me guess. 118 in third.
Something along those lines. Yeah, I definitely didn't comment that on the post. But yeah, no, it's like 115, 118. So I assume when people get there, it'll probably be, I can see like higher horsepower guys like Novak and such. I could see them running that, something similar, because he's got 4.5 liters of extra displacement as a supercharger on top of his 454 V8. Right. So he's got all the torque in the world. But I feel like the average will probably be like 103 to 109, around that range. I think could be a happy medium around there.
Yeah, and there's also like wide variances in gearing, like between drivers. Like I talked to Jeff a lot about Jeff Jones about gearing stuff, and he is consistently, I want to say, 10 to 15 miles per hour more wheel speed than me on every single track. Because I'll get my wheel speed dialed in, and I'll go talk to him, and I'll say like, "Oh, what are you running?" He's like 140. I'm like, "What the hell's wrong?" I'm at like 125. Like, what are you doing? And that's just how he drives. That's how he wants his car to feel, I guess. But there's a big variance between whether and we're both supercharged V8s. So I think there's going to be a variance there between who wants to sit on red line and who doesn't. I typically don't sit on red line, but I'm always running a much slower wheel speed than him, and I think between drivers there's just going to be a lot of variance there, but I don't see anyone running more than, I'd say, like where Brandon was at, about 115, and I don't see anyone running less than probably like 95. I know I've heard, like, I think Literal ran like 99 or something a few years back. We were talking about it at Jersey. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
And it also depends on like if they're gonna start in second gear. Like when I was running the LB2 course, I was starting in second and I was using fourth as my main gear, and it sounds like Brandon was using third as his main gear. Typically, I always try and run fourth as my main gear because I have the dog box, and when you're in fourth, it's the main shaft is locked in, so the transmission is as strong as it's going to be when you're in fourth gear. If you're in third, it's going from your main gear to a side gear to another shaft to another gear back to the main gear. So it's just inherently weaker and it's a lot more wear and tear on the transmission itself. So I always try and gear it for fourth. I think like New Jersey, Florida. I think those are the only two where I was starting in second, consistently. That's just how I run the course, is second, third, fourth, instead of first, second, third, fourth, or first, second, third.
Gotcha. Obviously you're staying in one gear the whole time on this track, it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, in tandem, I was going down to third because I think I had my fourth gear at like 98 or something like that. And I'm able to fill the zone. I'll probably run taller in real life because I'm literally sitting on red line for the entire track. But I was going down to third in the chase, entering outer zone 3, basically, because that's where it gets really tight. And I was having troubles sort of keeping the engine lit. Going through that corner, stabbing left foot brake, hand braking, doing whatever I could to stay within proximity of the driver, in front of me. And the VDC E46 that I use is the V8 that's in there is kind of like an on and off switch in a way. Like it doesn't really pick up RPM. It almost drives like a turbo car because like if you're not higher in the RPM and not really mashing on it, it just sort of dives out on you and the car just straightens out. Whereas my car in the sim, which is based on Novak's car, it's basically Novak's engine package. That thing just makes boost everywhere. Anywhere you get on throttle, you're good to go. But with that VDC Public E46, it's just quite a bit different driving experience.
Which one's more like your car?
The one that my car, yeah, the
Yeah.
Novak version, basically.
Gotcha,
It feels more like my engine power band for sure, where, I can leave it in fourth if I want to. I mean, I've run Atlanta, in fourth gear the entire time,
Wow.
initiate in fourth, go through the keyhole in fourth, everything, so you can take it down to, from, I don't know what that entry is, 80 miles per hour. So entry, still have, power to get on throttle and make it all the way up that hill and still be able to manage it, while I'm going through the keyhole at, 40 miles per hour or whatever it is you're going at through there. And then be able to pick the speed back up again, just clutch kick and let her eat,
Interesting.
I have a laser scan of Atlanta. Is that the second fastest entry other than Evergreen?
Utah.
I'm not sure. Utah used to be the fastest entry. I want to say Atlanta's probably faster than Utah than Seattle. It's hard to say because I think the thing that like really makes an entry feel fast is like how much the car slows down after you initiate, whereas like Seattle, you kind of initiate and you carry that speed. It doesn't feel as aggressive as like, a track like old Utah or like Atlanta where you're heavy braking and coming in hot and then slowing down. You're trying to bring as much speed into it as possible and then still be able to manage to make it through the corner. Whereas Seattle, you just kind of initiate and you're just heavy on throttle for the next, 30 years that it takes you to get around that bank.
That's huge, man. That is huge.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, Andy, do you think you are gonna like this track more than the original Long Beach layout? Or the
For
first
tandem,
time?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. The original Long Beach layout, like it's really fun. I'll give it that, but it's not like a typical drift layout. Like if you were to design, a drift track and you had, a big wide open space, and you just were able to, design your own thing, that is not what you would come up with.
Right.
It flows actually surprisingly well, like once you kind of get a handle for it, but it's it's not ideal for tandems, and it's not ideal for drifting. You know, it was never thought up to be a drift track. It's just kind of a section of Long Beach road course that they, you know, figured out would work well for drifting. So I think I'm gonna like this one a lot better because you can kind of actually like have some fun with the tandems and not feel like you're gonna die, you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it's more built like a typical, you know, bro style, quote unquote, Assetto track that's just built for tandems basically and built to have fun and bang doors and, you know,
Yeah.
They
enjoy it.
were, yeah, they were real. It was definitely purpose driven. Like they wanted to make sure you got like, and even whenever I was making it, like we wanted Kevin and those guys, they wanted to make sure that like, let's get these guys something they can use and have some fun with, like tight tandems. That's going to be the theme. And
Hmm.
I'm like, man, I feel like we got it pretty good.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm interested to see if it's going to be my favorite track to do tandem on because Jersey's kind of been my favorite over the past couple of years just because it's like the power doesn't make a difference. The cars that are, you know, ridiculously fast don't have an extreme advantage there as they would at like, you know, Seattle or at Salt Lake City where, you know, if you're behind an RTR car at Seattle, just good luck. You know, like,
Right.
good luck. Like those things are ridiculously fast, and they have this huge, long, high-speed corner to get away from you, and then you're just chasing your tail for the rest of the lap. Whereas you know, tracks like Jersey and tracks like this one, it's anybody's game. You know.
Definitely.
Yeah. And like you said, I think from a media perspective, I think this will be like one of the best shots to get people dooring everyone. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like you're
Yep.
just gonna see. There's some corners that are long enough to where you have the time to go tap someone's door and then get out of the
Mm-hmm.
pocket for transition. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I
Yeah,
mean,
doing that at Old Long Beach is, I mean, you can get close, but you're not bumping doors for very long before, you know, you're contemplating what the driver is going to do next or
mm-mm.
heading into a big slowdown
Yeah,
zone or
unless you're like using them to slow down your car in the final zone, it's like,
yeah, and
you
also
know,
something I just thought of is like that's also our first event of the year. Like nobody really wants to destroy their cars that first event of the year. We got, you
mm-hmm.
know, Atlanta coming up in, you know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks after that. So everybody's kind of driving at 90%, I say, at the Old Long Beach course, where I think at this one we're going to see everybody driving at 110%, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. In it,
I've always wanted Long Beach at the end because I feel like it is true. Most people drive not 100% just to make sure they don't total their car the first round, and it
Yeah.
being having a different Long Beach at the end, but still Long Beach, just as much risk, will be really cool to see because last round of the season, might as well just you
Mm-hmm.
know throw everything at her.
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm excited. And
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing: is like
What's up?
w- with everyone driving at their highest potential, it's like you have to think that. I mean, I'm trying to think of how I want to say this, but like I'm hopeful. Like this could be like the spiciest round of the year in terms of like, you know, people hitting each
Battles.
other, and you know, we've already had a couple ramps up this year. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see some like pretty serious. I don't know, carnage is the right word, but like,
God, don't say that. It's like my worst nightmare.
no, you know,
I want to see Dylan Hughes mount another car.
well, dude, Utah is crazy. But like
That was
not
nuts, man.
necessarily carnage, but just people like literally ripping off the door skins of each other. Like
Yep.
Yeah.
that's what I kind of want to see. I think that's going to
Mm-hmm.
happen cuz this track's perfect for it.
Yep. Yep. I'm ready for it.
Yeah. But yeah, it kind of, you know, brings us into the final round as well. But there's always I did want to catch up with Andy a little bit on how the season's going and stuff like that. I mean, how is it battling Odibachi's 8 times in a year? Is that fun?
I mean, it's kind of nice because like I'm learning him a lot, you know. So like I feel like I can, you know, figure him out a little bit more, you know, rather than running with a random driver, you know, every round. But it gets old because like you know, I make a lot of content with the footage, you know, that I get from you and, you know, from the live stream and stuff like that. And like shit, yeah, my content all year has been like, oh, let's watch this battle with Odie Batchies. Let's watch this battle with Odie Batchies. Let's watch this one. And like, you know, but it's also, it feels great to like, you know, he beat us in, you know, Atlanta, took us down in Florida. And then, you know, just like the one more time in Jersey just felt like a win, you know, and then beating him in, you know, St. Louis, that was like completely unexpected.
I almost
Um,
did a whole kickflip.
and yeah, no, it was
Yeah.
gnarly.
That
Yeah,
was
and
crazy.
yeah, I didn't see that. I just watched him. I was like, he dropped a little bit of tire. Oh my god! And like the car is flying in through
Flying
the
through the
air
air
at
right
my
now.
car. So I'm like, let me straighten it up and kind of, you know, get out of here. But yeah, and it's nice to sort of, you know, let him know that we're not a pushover. You know, I think that's the reason why he was ready to push so hard in St. Louis is because we won more time to him. You know, in Jersey, and he probably took it easy on that lap, thought that this was going to be an easy win, and it wasn't. And then in you know in St. Louis, you know, he obviously realized that, you know, he needs to push a little harder to nudge us out of the way, and you know, unfortunately that ditch there caught him. It's a sketchy ditch. I mean, it caught me too behind when I was following Matt Field, you know, and shot me all four tires into the air as well. So, and then in Salt Lake City, when we battled for seating or whatever, he didn't take it easy. He did drop a tire at like the end of outer zone. What is it? Four, the final outer zone. You
Yeah.
know, he dropped a tire there, and I was just kind of getting flashbacks, like waiting for his car to pop up and fly through the air again. But I think at this point he knows that we're not, you know, an easy win. You know, he's got to push it to a certain extent, and even with the lead lap that I did, you know, against Odie in Salt Lake City, that I was not happy with at all. The judges still took a long time to make that decision, so I don't know what was going on up there, but obviously it wasn't, you know, an easy decision for them to make, and that just tells me we're moving in the right direction. We don't have the power that these other cars have. We finally have the tire, you know, with the Kumo, the 295 that they came out with this year has been incredible. But last year we were on 275s. We're still only making about 750 horsepower. So we're, you know, what is Odie at? Like 1200 or something like that, or
Yeah.
1000?
Knows anymore.
Yeah. Either way, we're
Rocket ship, yeah.
yeah, we're at least
A lot.
250 horsepower down on Odie's setup or on most of the drivers out there. So to be able to hang, you know, just tells me we're doing something right. We just need to keep moving in that direction.
Oh yeah.
100%. Well, I mean, speaking of moving in the right direction, I guess something I kind of saw is kind of interesting. There's been a bunch of drivers repping you at like top 16 ceremonies and stuff with your hat and stuff. Why is
Yeah.
that?
Well, there was a little incident at the town hall meeting we did in Seattle. I got to make sure I word this all correctly here because I don't want to name names. I don't want to call anyone out, even though he called me out in front of all the other drivers and all the other spotters and all
Oh,
the
I know
whole
who
crew
this
that was
is.
there. So one of the teams who is a manager for one of the biggest teams in FD, definitely I'd say like top three biggest teams there, came in and and the point he was making was fine. You know, I just don't see why I had to drag us into it, but he was expressing to Formula Drift pretty angrily to Sage and the rest of the crew there that this wasn't he came out and said like this is not a professional motorsport. It should be only top 16. And why are all these other cars here? And you know, when you look around the Formula Drift pits, like, yeah, I understand what he's saying. Not everybody's pulling up in a giant big rig with 4 cars and you know 20 crew guys and all that stuff. But I mean, I think that's part of the beauty of the sport, you know, is that, you know, guys like us show that, anyone can go out and do this. You just got to, get all your ducks in a row. But he was going off about, him wanting to change it to top 16 and this and that. And then he made the comment of all these conehead drivers. And I believe that was targeted at me. later confirmed that when he came up to apologize. But and he said it like once, and I was like, okay, like whatever. Like he wants to, talk some crap. Like, cool, go ahead, do your thing. But then he kept saying it, and he said it more than 4 times, possibly 6 times. We'll call it 5 times that he said, these conehead drivers and, they're unprofessional and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I think it came from when we were in Atlanta this year. We were selling our hats and we were pitted right across from them. And, my merch guys are pretty aggressive. We're out there. We're having a great time. We're pointing at people saying, you need one, you need one. And whenever someone buys one, we do our chant. That's one of us. So I think that got to him a little bit. But I mean, him personally is the personality of wet cardboard. So I can see why that bothered him. But kept on going off about the Conehead, teams. And I sort of leaned over and I was like, yo, like, one of the Conehead team made top 16 last round. And he's like, see, that's what I'm talking about, this unprofessionalism. And I'm like, I don't know if he's the one to come in there and talk all that. He's the one that is unprofessional in my eyes, but expressed, that I was upset to, some of the other drivers. Christina Jones, actually, Jeff Jones' wife, was super pissed and more pissed than I was, it seemed. But kind of just let it roll. And we were selling cone hats at Seattle. I told the fans if they went up and took a selfie in front of their rig with a cone hat, that I would give them a little free squishy cone. So like that was my way of like getting back at him, and he came up, he apologized, but I don't think he apologized out of his own merit. I think he truly apologized because of the general vibe he got from, his drivers and his team. Because I'm good friends with their drivers. I'm good friends with a lot of guys in their team. Nothing against them as a team, but he came up, he said he was sorry, this and that. And I basically told him, I was like, I get why you're sorry, but to throw us under the bus for your argument that you were making, just doesn't make sense. And his, rebuttal was basically that, it's not the point I was trying to make. I wasn't trying to single you guys out, and I mean, if you were there at the meeting, he was obviously singling us out. And lo and behold, guess who didn't make top 16 that round? His driver. So,
right.
And the next round after that. The driver that, beat him, we gave him a cone hat and, he wore it during top 16. And we've been sort of giving him out to the drivers that beat his drivers so that they're wearing a cone hat during top 16, which, I mean, honestly, like, I'm not trying to like have a vendetta against him. I just think it's funny,
Right.
So like, that's kind of where we're at with that one. And like, he's a guy that I had a lot of respect for, that's, lent me parts before and stuff like that. We've had a cordial relationship up until then. So I really didn't see why it was needed to single us out, during this town hall meeting with all the other drivers and all the FD staff, and kind of berate us in front of everyone. It was just kind of uncalled for, and I said, unprofessional.
Well, let's kind of think about the idea for a second of like, why would you want to make the sport smaller? Like, I don't
he wants
understand.
to make it smaller. I think because he wants his drivers to always be in the main show, for one, because they're spending.
I get it.
Yeah, they're spending a ton of money to be there. I understand that. The only way to package it properly and sell it, like you would sell another motorsport program, and make it fit into a certain time slot, even though nobody watches TV anymore, would be to do a top 16. I mean, typically most of the broadcasts of Formula Drifts in the past have always just been a top 16, show, basically,
right,
in 30 minutes or an hour or whatever. So like I see where he's coming from with that, and like if you want to be angry at FD staff and make the argument, like that's fine, go ahead. Do I ever think that's going to happen? No, but I don't care. I care if you drag me and throw me into the bus for that point, which was just unnecessary.
Right.
So, you know, um,
Interesting.
yeah, I'm interested if what other conversations we're going to have in the future, because his apology in Seattle just didn't feel like it was genuine. You know, it was more of like, that's not the point I was trying to make, and this and that, and it wasn't just a genuine like, hey, I'm sorry I said that, I shouldn't have said that type thing. It was more of like, this is why I said that type apology, which it's not really necessary to tell me why you did something like that. Just tell me you're sorry, and that's, you know, it basically.
Right.
Yeah, you know, it happens, you know. And now when I drive with their drivers, I really don't care about hitting their cars. So like that's one thing. Like when you're driving with like big teams, like yeah, like they're fighting for the championship, you know, for sure. And I'm definitely not, you know, 6 rounds in or whatever my standings were. But I mean, you know, when I line up next to you guys, like I'm not going to hit you guys on purpose, but I'm going to be able to push that a little bit further. And with the that sort of in the back of my head that yeah, if I hit him, I'm really not going to. I'm going to feel bad for the driver. I'm not going to feel bad for the team owner. And it's, you know, it is what it is in the end. Like I don't hate the guy. I mean, I just don't respect him anymore the way that I used to, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was kind of I remember hearing the story, and I was like, that's probably not going to sit well. And it was kind of cool to see some of the drivers, you know, repping your hat at
Oh yeah.
at intros and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, they all heard it. I mean, everybody was there. You know, it was
Good.
that's what sort of you know. And if you wanted to say all that stuff to FD staff behind closed doors, like yeah, I'm fine with that too. You know,
Yeah.
but you're gonna publicly embarrass me in front of all my peers and all the staff. Like,
Hell no.
no, it doesn't sit well. So everybody gets a free squishy cone if they go mess with him. And
I like your plan of attack on this.
Yeah,
a
I do
passive
too.
aggressive, not even it's just a silly way of just fuck you in a
yeah,
sense.
and I mean, like,
Yeah.
he's honestly he's taken it too damn seriously. I mean, this sport is a silly sport to begin with. We're doing a judge thing where we slide our cars around a racetrack, and there's all these little nuances to how you win and how you lose. It's so much different than professional racing on any level. And you know, when I got into this sport, I was watching, you know, option video on DVDs that I buy at Best Buy in the little, you know, weird random, you know, DVD section. And it wasn't, you know, it wasn't anything serious. I mean, if you watch those videos, they have a blast. They do a bunch of weird stuff with the drivers and have a good time and do fitness tests and just random goofy stuff. And that's why I got into it, is because it was fun. You know, it was fun to watch. It was fun to be a part of. And it's just not taken too seriously, because life is not that serious in general. You know, like if you're not willing to like smile every once in a while and have a laugh and enjoy what you're doing, like what's the point, you know? So I don't think that kind of seriousness even belongs in drifting to begin with, you know. I think the big teams have their spot, and it gives us something to dream about and work towards and try and aspire to. But I don't think anyone should be taking it, you know, as serious as NASCAR or F1 or anything like that. It's just not the same thing.
True.
Yeah. No, it's it was a tough story when I heard that one. But you know, we move on, we have some fun, like you said. That's kind of the sport of drifting and how it is and what we do. But that kind of brings me into, you know, the idea of like, what do you think happens next year for just the whole layout and run time and all the kind of, because there's been some pretty serious, you know, I don't know how much you can talk about, but like there's been some pretty serious debates about what to do for next year in terms of, do we do qualifying, do we do a mixture, do we do the seating? Like there's a lot of, I would say pretty
Yeah.
heated debate going on right now behind the scenes.
Yeah. That's what most of the meeting was about, to be honest. And then I didn't mention that that team owner, the specific guy, came in. He wasn't at the meeting. He came in about like maybe 5 minutes before it ended, and then just started going off on the FD staff and going off on me and telling us all this stuff that needed to change, and throwing me under the bus in the process. But if he's not willing to even come to the town meeting and discuss what the future of the series, that just tells me his head is not in the right spot as far as the future of the sport and as far as caring about the sport or where it goes. I think it was just kind of, how do I make the most money off of this? And you guys are preventing me from making the most money that off of this that I can. And that was that kind of conversation. But as far as where it's going for next year, I'd say the majority of the drivers are for qualifying, for bringing it back. I think FD is not, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens next year. I'm still on the fence about it personally. I do like seating in the fact that I am guaranteed a battle at each round. I've been that guy before that's qualified 33rd, or whatever, and not made it in, and that part sucks. And it seems like with seating, at least I get a battle, at least I get something to use for content, rather than a qualifying run that got me 33rd. That's probably not the best run, and that's all I would walk away from the weekend with. So it's hard to say, but I do enjoy qualifying in the sense that, like, the underdog always had a chance to qualify high, whereas the system that we have now, the drivers are at the top, stay at the top, and there's no way to surpass them, before the event starts and put yourself in a good position in the bracket. It's just impossible at this point. If you're in seeding, you're not getting anything, below or above 24th in qualifying, so to speak, which that part doesn't sit well with me, just because watching the underdogs in this sport is one of the most exciting things, in my opinion. Watching,
Novak against Osborne.
exactly qualified. Well, even that, I mean, I'm talking about Irwindale, where he won it. That was cool. That was one of, like, the all-time sort of highest moments the series had, from my perspective, in the past few years, because, like, nobody was expecting that, and Nick just went out there and killed it every single lap. And did he ever podium before that? I don't think so, right?
No.
Yeah, and he just comes out straight up, wins Irwindale, like one of the most daunting tracks out of the entire season.
Did he qualify first too?
He did, yeah. He had a perfect event, yeah. So watching that, like, that's one of the most exciting things to me in drifting, because, I mean, like I said, I came from the option videos, and I don't know if you guys are this old. I'm probably going to date myself here, but when Ueo, who was the Corolla driver back in the day, he beat Taniguchi, he was driving for HKS. He had that S15 with the red with the 3-spoke wheels, and he was the first guy to ever have a sequential transmission in drifting. That was like top of the line, $100,000 build. And he got beat by some dude with a 200 horsepower Corolla, Like, that was so cool. I mean, bad for Taniguchi, obviously,
right.
But seeing the underdog, following, like, that initial D storyline, like, that's part of the reason why we do this, is to watch the ones that you don't expect to win. That's exciting to me. To me, that's what, like, the sport is about, is making it, a level playing field where it's not about dollars. It's not about what team you have, what trailer you have, what spares you have, what crew you have. It's about getting out there and driving your ass off. And if you do that, you can go places. It's
I mean, and that's the thing is how many drivers have done that, to where they've come from basically nothing. I mean, you look at a guy like Matt Field.
Mm-hmm.
Really didn't come from a whole lot, and grinded his way into a whole. Now he brings people's cars to events all over the zone. Or you got a guy like
Odie as well.
Started a business and like literally made it into his whole thing. Like, I mean, even you for some part, because like you were able to create a marketing idea that is basically help fund your FD program.
Yep.
Dude, Rudy Hansen.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's cool to see where each person kind of succeeds, even in their own right, and kind of making this thing happen, because that's the challenge, right? How do you, because there's two challenges, I would say. First challenge is obviously winning a championship. Like, that's obviously everyone's goal, but then you have to think of the realistic option of how do you keep doing this?
Yeah.
Because that's, I feel like, almost the more important one. Even if you go to win, but you can't afford to keep going, then was it really? Did you do the right thing?
Yeah. I think that's a huge thing, man. Like, I hang out with Rudy Hansen a good bit, and we talk a lot. And I had no idea financially, like, how much money you guys have to pour into your programs and your craft and what you do. And
especially him this year.
Yeah, he's doing it on his own, man. Like,
and you look at it too, and there's still, like, he has a great program, and every year he keeps building it more and more. And it's like, you look at it though, and then you look at RTR, or you look at Toyota, and it's like there's still exponentially many more levels to go to reach even that point. And it's like, you're already spending how much? And it's like, what the heck? Well, yeah, it's like jeepers creepers. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of different levels to it in drifting, and that's kind of like how Andy was saying that in a sense, like, it would be wrong to take that away, to take that opportunity for the regular guy, the working guy, to take that opportunity away. I see both sides of it. If it went to like a franchise like NASCAR style where everybody's showing up in a stacker, yes, it would be cool, but overall that's not the
It's just not reality right now.
It's not the reality. Maybe in 10 years, like, where something changes or whatever, a new sponsor comes in and it ends up being like the greatest thing ever, or it ends up being just the worst thing ever. Like, we don't actually know. But I think in my head, like you said, like, to take away that deep root of what drifting truly is, you can't X out the regular man or woman.
Andy's right though. Like, the underdog, like, there is something awesome about seeing that, man. Like,
I mean, that's why we love Talladega Nights, right?
Right. Whenever Rome at OSW like beat James, like, I was in the BC racing tent right there. Like, all of us were there. We're all freaking out, like, oh, dude, get it, And then seeing Nick, it was probably 20 of us watching that. Utah, freaking out, man. Like, big underdog guy. I'm a big underdog fan.
That had me fired up at Utah.
It does, man.
Yeah. That like gained me at least 5 hours of energy just by that run right there. I was like thankful as hell that happened. It's like, I couldn't have believed it, honestly. No offense, Nick, but just truly couldn't believe what I had just seen. I was like, this is back-to-back heaters.
Yeah, dude, just laying down hate, bro.
I mean, it's one of the best chases we've seen in probably five years, I would say, in FD, since the Castro battle against was it Vicek
James?
or Dean?
That was James.
Yeah, Castro. Yeah, that was Castro. That was huge too, man.
But I think from what you're saying about the underdog side of the equation is, you need that though in a series. You need the underdogs. You need the guys that are not at the top level to create stories. And what people get invested in I mean, this is, people make jokes in the chat of like, okay, so what are we going to complain about FD about this week, which I don't feel like we complain that much about FD. We just want it to be better and continue to grow. But
I want every track to have corn dogs.
That'd be good.
At least some form of a dog.
Good.
Yeah.
Hot dog.
Have a Frank at least once a weekend, it's not complete.
But
That's some form of dog.
hard
Yeah.
to come by around these places. No pun intended.
oh my gosh. But that's a funny. Yeah. I guess I don't even know how I would explain that story.
Herbie over there
Okay,
trying to
never
get
mind.
you to get demonetized.
Yeah.
I don't
no,
have to
Herbie's
try
really
too
good
hard, dude.
Dude,
I
Herbie's
don't.
gonna-
I really.
I'm just telling you guys now. I'm releasing a video tomorrow that I don't know if it will be monetized.
Is it me? Did I
mm,
say something bad?
Yeah. I mean, I had to bleep out at least one thing that you said in the video.
Did I say any
We'll-
slurs?
yeah,
Talking
we'll
about
see.
a certain country or something? Is
Yeah.
that what
No,
Herbie was
that
saying?
hasn't been done yet. That hasn't
Oh,
been done
man.
yet.
But back
No.
to my original point before we get too far off of it. Um, what I was saying is like you need the underdogs because of, people get invested in storylines. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
F1 is like the pinnacle of an example where people that don't care anything about racing
Mm-hmm.
love F1 because they love the storylines. They love,
Yep.
dude, my wife loves F1. She doesn't even care about racing for the most part.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but she likes the stories of the drivers. Like, she hates Verstappen and loves
Yep.
McLaren, and I'm like, okay, why?
Yep.
She's like,
It's
well,
tisk.
But it's like it's because of the show, and you get that inside look at all of them, and even though probably a lot of it's staged and whatnot, but still, it's like
Mm-hmm.
creating the story. Like that's I'm sure why you have a bunch of fans, Andy, because of the storyline that you've created for yourself on your Instagram with the Drift Wizard and all the fun videos you do. Like,
Nah.
like people are looking for a story to get invested in, and you need underdogs for a story. You
Mhm.
can't just have a bunch of Goliaths,
I
all the
mean,
time.
I know I brought up Talladega Nights, but just about every movie that has, some sort of sport that they have to do, whether it's, like old school, 80s skiing movies to, Rad, the BMX movie to
Yeah.
whatever it is, it's always about like this like douchey guy who's really good at it, and then the underdog like practices, and there's that montage, and he gets his reps in, and
Right.
he does all his stuff, and then he goes out and he battles with the big guy, and he beats him, and it's the biggest thing, and he gets the girl, and all this stuff. Like it's all like that's what we're trained to to admire in a sense. Is like that guy who beat the guy who always wins, basically, and that's why we get, blown out of the water when, someone beats James or someone beats Osbo or, whatever.
Right.
Like, that's like so much more exciting and so much more of a story than just watching the same guy win over and over again.
Yeah.
And like, nothing against like James or Osbo. They're great people and all that, but like it does get boring just watching them
Right.
win all the time, every
Yeah.
single lap. And I'm sure it's not boring for them. They're probably
Right.
loving life,
Yeah. But even even when they get beat, dude, they're always the first
Yeah.
guy over to congratulate them.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
no, they're great dudes. Yeah,
They definitely
yeah,
know what it feels. Well, they don't know what it feels like, but they could imagine what it feels like to be in that other person's shoes that took down the giant. Like it's
Mhm.
inevitable that they know that they are the giants of the
Mhm.
sport. So yeah,
Yep. And I mean, everybody's got to start somewhere. Like nobody, hopped in a drift car and was immediately, amazing at it. It all takes learning, and it all takes, discipline to get good at anything. So like they know and respect the fact that we're all, just chasing the same discipline and all on our own path, getting better at what we do. And like, yeah, they're great dudes. Like there's nothing against them. Maybe that's why I wouldn't make that good of a, like the F1 soap opera they got going on right now. Like there wouldn't be a whole lot of drama if they try to do the same thing for FD. There's no, bad guy there,
No,
Yeah.
there's starting a couple that are starting to create themselves,
Yeah, drivers or
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say there's like, I mean, the internet has turned on a couple people over the years for
Yeah,
different things,
yeah.
and like
Yeah.
you'll get that, and then the question is, okay, so you gonna embrace it, like embrace being
Mhm.
the bad guy? You like, I mean, then there's always different things and that happen. I mean, I always think of, I think for example, this year when Adam beat Dylan Hughes in Seattle, and Adam gets to be the villain of that event, you know,
Yeah.
and whatnot. So it's like for that, I just as an example. So, but like that's there's always that element to. I mean, I guess characters that you can kind of create as well. But I guess what is when coming into this last round, obviously you guys are looking to do well and obviously end off the season right. But are you already kind of looking at the winner? Do you already talk with people about next year? Like, is that something that's already kind of starting to come up in the horizon, or is it something that doesn't really get too talked about until?
As far as like sponsors and stuff like that, or
and like stuff like that, and
I'm probably not doing enough already.
yeah,
I tend to focus like way too much on the program and the driving and the car and all that stuff to where you know, I kind of get lost. This is the first year where I've actually like sort of tried to find people to help me out with that kind of stuff because I'm just not the best at it. You know, I can get part sponsorships all days, but getting someone to write you a check is extremely difficult.
100%.
So I'm chasing a few different avenues to try and find someone who knows that industry a little better than me to attack it and see what we can get for next year. Because if we don't get, you know, a decent budget for this year, I don't know if it's going to happen, to be honest.
Right.
It's just Pro 1 costs, you know, exponentially more than Pro Spec. We're looking at I thought it was going to be close to double the budget, and it's almost triple. So we're just and you know, rebuilds and all this stuff that I do to maintain the car is relatively expensive. I have kind of a strict, you know, maintenance schedule with the car and all that stuff like that. So making sure that all it happens is really expensive. You know, if I had, you know, the ideal, you know, budget, I'd be rebuilding my engine every year, you know, tearing the car all the way down, you know, every year we do. Last year we did an engine rebuild. I do an engine rebuild every 2 to 3 years. So this next year we probably won't do one, but you know, there might be something in there that's worth looking at that you know, could have helped us out in the long run. The transmission differential we rebuild every year. Fortunately, G-Force helps us out with that, and there's just a lot more that I would do if I had, you know, a better, you know, budget to do so with. And again, like we're not making the most power out there. We're not, you know, bringing, you know, the same level of car basically out there as you know, the bigger teams are. Hopefully, you know, someone comes along and, you know, likes what we do and all that stuff. But as far as with like sponsorship goes, like I need to find someone that sort of aligns with, you know, my style of content and my driving and my image that I've created, sort of because I'm not a clean cut, you know, Osbo looking like guy. I'm the weird hobo looking dude. Looks like he's gonna rob you in an alleyway. So I gotta find someone who's into that, you know. Unfortunately, like there's a lot of
flip your hair.
Exactly. So like
Hair dye out.
There's a lot of different avenues to approach that, and I think, you know, barking up the right tree for, you know, what you're about is the right way to go about it, you know. I don't look like a NASCAR driver or an F1 driver or any of that, and that plays a big part into it. But if I can align myself with, you know, companies that appreciate, you know, silly content that, you know, makes people laugh, which in my opinion is the most important content, then we're getting somewhere, you know. And the way I explain it to them is, you know, the Super Bowl has the highest paid advertising of any commercial slot in anywhere in the world ever. I think Amazon paid $26 million last year for their slot in the Super Bowl, and the majority of the commercials are really, really funny. they're going the comedy route with the most money they're spending, all year, possibly ever, on advertising their brand. They're choosing to be hilarious rather than be serious, or rather than
Right.
take a different approach type thing. So I just think, if you can make someone laugh, they're going to remember it more than some description of a product or some drug that has 20 million side effects. Like,
Exactly. No, you're
like,
right. No,
yeah.
you're right. I that's what I was saying. Like you've kind of created your own little niche with the Drift Wizard. So
Mhm.
and that's where you got to start. All right,
Mhm, mhm.
guys, what the hell is going on in chat right now?
What are they talking about?
They got some
We're
explaining
just
to do
going
here.
off.
One of you
We're
two's
just
better
having
be talking.
fun.
What's going on?
Just having some fun. We can't have some friendly
Brandon's
banter.
got a secret admirer.
Oh
I
damn!
don't have
Oh,
any secret admirer.
Well,
is his
yes,
name Dave?
Yeah, his name's Dave.
this lovely chatter, Brianna, is offering to let Brandon drive her car.
Oh, did
at
she
the-
actually say that? I didn't even see that. Where's
Mhm.
that?
Oh,
at? I need to
no,
screenshot
look, I
that.
didn't even see it.
I didn't. I swear to God that
Oh,
everything's moving so
Little
fast.
Speaking of
Charlie
driving,
Sheen making
though.
moves.
Shit.
Wait, hold on. Who the fuck said that? Why the fuck? Dude, Craig needs to shut his mouth. You learned that only Craig calls me Charlie Sheen. All right,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
All right, Boopy.
Oh
Yeah, he told me.
It's got
So
that
cute.
little
It's the first
tiger
time he's
blood.
ever talked to a girl.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
You gotta
But
take her
speaking
to
of driving,
McDonald's
though,
afterwards.
Herbie, you did. You actually drove this weekend, didn't you?
I didn't.
You
Yeah.
didn't?
Dang.
No.
I drove on Friday.
We went to AVS on Saturday. It was a last minute thing. Yogi's first inaugural run with the blue E46.
Gotcha.
And we got there, go to do a lap, and she was just down on power. She was hurting. She was she did not like it at all. Tried beating the shit out of it for 4 laps back to back and pulled back in, and it was overheating. But then we found out that there was really no coolant in it, so that would help. So we did that. Went out. He beat the thing up like it owed him lunch money for 20 years, and eventually the diff bracket broke, or something like that.
Is it E46 or E36?
E46 or
Okay.
something in the rear end had gone
my diff
awry.
arm or whatever bracket broke on my car, so that's what I was asking.
Yeah, no, he I think drove it. No, he initiated. It happened, and then it just like straightened out right after that. So, and I at that point, like I said, we went on our first lap. I saw the struggles. I saw how much pain he was having to go through just to try to get that thing to link 2 turns.
Yeah.
Oh, like, man. So ultimately, I didn't ask.
Right.
So, and I'm glad I didn't, because I even said to one of our friends that was there, I was like, guaranteed, I'm gonna sit down in that thing. I'm gonna go, and the what?
The weld in the diff gave out.
The welds in the diff actually gave out, so it became like an open diff again.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I had said, I was like, guaranteed, I'm gonna go do a lap, and something's gonna break. Whatever is wrong with it is going to show itself. And I'm so glad it wasn't me, because that's my life all the time. All the time. I'm the last one to use something. Engine seizes or something. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you know what? Thanks, no thanks, actually.
Right.
I'm just going to sit on the sidelines and giggle and cheer you on. So, but it was a good time.
Gotcha.
Especially seeing Yogi get to drive. So,
right.
Albeit in minuscule
Shitbox,
horsepower. Yeah. Like,
but
genuinely was doing nothing wrong, fighting for his life in that thing. I was like, man, but I was cracking up. Passenger
that's funny.
had an extra large helmet on. Believe it or not, it was too big for my huge ass head. And dude, I like the dead silence of a stock car, and just the pure laughter. Like, it's been so long since I've been in something that quiet. And like, dude, like, just funny, good times with good people, and yeah, very cool.
Hell
It's
yeah.
cool that the desert is only an hour away. You know,
Right.
as much of a not aesthetically pleasing track that it is, it's a very cool track.
What
Yeah.
track is it?
Apple Valley.
Oh, Apple Valley. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's just like,
When
you
the
know, like,
Grange.
yeah, Grange,
Apple Valley,
AVS, yeah. Like, being there, it's not terrible, but like footage, everything is just tan. It's just you're just looking at the same thing no matter which way you go.
You're just shooting
So
an
if you
S
put
log
a
the
if you
whole
put a
time.
sepia filter on it, you can say it's Mexico.
Honestly,
Yeah.
depends on how windy it is out that day. I may
Yeah.
not even need a filter on. There was a moment where somebody dirt dropped, and then like Yogi came around and drove through it, and like I thought I was shooting because Tyler Capper was there, and I know that he was near me. I was like, "Am I shooting at his legs?" Like, but it was just a wall of dirt that was up. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah. That's funny.
But it was a cool time. It was definitely a cool time. I hope to maybe get some seat time in soon. Maybe in my own little Herbie mobile. I'm trying to decide whenever I get funds properly what direction I want to go. Do I want to build? There's one of three things. So I want to have a drift car, have fun with my friends. Do I want to build an F-150 and be a fucking street racing degenerate?
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I see what you're saying there.
Or do I've really have always wanted to build like a Nova or a Camaro, an old 69 or 70. So being out in California, the options are definitely a little bit higher of finding not a complete piece of shit shell or something.
Yeah, well,
Nice.
we'll see. We'll see. Brandon, you also said you drove. Is this your first time driving in real life?
Yes, on Friday it was. Yeah.
Oh, so how'd that go?
I will say, so the car I drove was my buddy Nelson. Shout out Nelson. His E90. So it was a sedan E90. That's what an E90 is. It's a sedan with an N52. It had wise fab narrow in the front. Some definitely blown out BCs. But yeah, it was it was a good time for sure. It definitely took some getting used to. The track was pretty big, so I had to use a lot of momentum. So took some getting used to the first like I'd say 8 laps. Definitely wasn't the prettiest.
Yeah.
But then I got in a groove, a flow, and got better as the night went on. So it was
So
a
you were
fun time
linking.
for
Were
sure.
you linking by the end of the night?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, by like
the whole
lap.
course.
Yeah, I did the whole course. The whole course. It was just wap the whole time. Yeah,
The video you sent was great. I thought you look good. You look comfy.
Yeah,
You did all the
you
stuff.
know,
You fucking left foot brake
yeah.
in the handbrake.
Use the handbrake a little bit. I couldn't really left foot brake because it
Did
like
you
bogs
post
the
on
car
Instagram?
down.
Is it on your Instagram?
I did.
You
Yeah,
did? Oh, here it is.
I did.
Is it you?
Real fast. One
All right, have fun peeing.
Yeah, he shows
But,
up late and then leaves. What a great friend.
I didn't even say
There we
anything.
go.
I just left. My phone was about to die.
That's important, you know.
Right. But yeah, no, I
Yeah.
mean, so this is Lanier, right? Or no?
Yeah, Lanier.
Yeah, Lanier.
Shout out Lanier. It's shutting down on the 23rd of November. It
What?
fucking
Ah.
sucks.
Why are all these? This sucks, man.
Well, for Lanier, there's a couple things. The rumor is that the track is going to stay and they're still going to host events, but the plan, they're not making a neighborhood, thank God, because if you know where Lanier is, it's right across the street from Road Atlanta. It's going to be like a luxury complex sort of thing, like a restaurant, a couple restaurants, event centers, some car storage, condos, whatever. So it's still car focused, which is good. You know, and if they're saying they're keeping the track, that's even better because keeping the
So
track.
it's new
great.
ownership, is what you're kind of saying?
Yeah, they did sell the track, but they want to keep it car focused. Just have it be
A bit
like have
nicer.
that high end
Like, develop
aspect of like like kind of like what Willow's doing and what Atlanta Motorsports Park does with all their car storage, condos, that sort of thing. It seems to
Mhm.
be pretty lucrative, in terms of selling property and
Yeah.
renting out condos and
Yeah,
all
because I'm
that
sure
Yeah.
that I'm sure that's a pretty expensive area right there, but right next to Atlanta and everything.
Yes, like directly next to the track, no, but there's areas around in that city that are pretty high, pretty nice. We'll say
Right.
there's a nice
Mhm.
place, nice
Right.
So
places
when
around
you're
there.
talking about the sale, are you talking about the Cars and Coffee people that bought it, or did the Cars and Coffee people sell it off
Cars and
yet?
Coffee people sold it.
Okay.
Hmm.
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 Yeah,
Yeah, that might not be good depending on the developer.
yeah,
We'll see. I mean, yeah, you couldn't put a bunch of houses there because it'd be way
no,
too loud for the track. But
yeah. It is. It is supposed to be like condos and track
yeah,
storage and that sort of thing, which is better than any
yeah,
you know neighborhood or residential place. But
yeah. It just
you know,
depends on who moves in and who decides they want to make a fuss about all the noise and the smoke and all that.
yes, see if they flatten out the track or not. That's the
Yeah,
big thing.
yeah. And from what I heard, even at like Willow, the future of drifting there is not looking too good at this point.
That
Um,
Mm,
sucks. What the
it's
hell?
yeah. There's no
yeah,
drift events going on right now there. I don't think you could do drift testing there right now. So
even on
we'll
the
see where that.
balcony.
No, I think it's all nothing drifting is going on there as of right now, and I don't know if there's going to be a future in it. Even like I think it was Ultimate Drift Challenge or one of the events out there that normally threw events there, they had to move their events. So I haven't called to personally, find out myself, but it's not looking very good for drifting at Willow Springs anymore.
I
Um,
gotcha.
Really?
so we'll see where that goes because that's like primarily where all of us in SoCal test our cars. At least I do all the time. It's like AVS is a little too tight to test an FD car. It's doable, but it's also like 3.5 hours from where I am, whereas Willow's about an hour and a half. So I'm always just heading up to Willow and don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that next year.
Well,
So we'll see.
you might
Yeah.
be in luck. I'm working with Flavor Express. You know Rob from Flavor
Yep.
Express.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um, I'm working with him on designing a track. It'll be like in the outskirts of Temecula.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, I'm building basically a 3D render of it.
Nice.
Yeah, and I've got to get on the ball and give him some like blueprint data and dimensional to give to the asphalt and pavers.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Cool.
so
Yeah.
hopefully that goes through, man. Because I don't know what's up with the track clear. Like you had Irwindale and then
Mhm.
now
Race is the big
Pittsburgh.
one.
Yeah,
Pit
Mhm.
race
Yeah,
was
pit
huge.
race.
that was huge.
Yeah, because they were rumors of FD going there next year, and obviously that's not going to fucking happen anymore
Mhm.
because it's
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
torn
Right.
down into a data center, which great.
Yeah.
But
We
So
are
that
needing more
sucks.
data.
My job is definitely going to get interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
next season
it
supposed to be
is,
dope.
but it is interesting that you bring up Geronimo. I've seen more and more personal drift tracks start to pop up, like at
Yeah.
people's like
Mhm.
private places. Like, it's really interesting. Now that obviously drifting is a thing, we've seen quite a few, at least in my area, that I've like 2 or 3
Yeah.
in Michigan that I
Yeah.
know of that have now popped up, where they'll host like personal events or something there, which I don't know. That's like really helpful for everyone, but it's like
Mhm.
I don't think. I think there will be demand, and I think people will just find places to build other tracks. I mean, we have in the past. They may not be as big and as glamorous as some of the tracks that are closing, but I
Mhm.
really like. There's a new track. I think the one in Texas.
Yeah, the all concrete one or
Yeah,
whatever.
that one looked really cool. Like
Yeah,
that.
it did.
I think we're gonna see a lot more tracks like that, where it's
Mhm.
just a lot of bro line and have fun tracks.
Mhm.
But no, it is a bummer that, like you said, we're seeing some big tracks kind of fall to the wayside. But I think the market will provide us some new stuff. It may not
Yeah.
be as close as the old tracks in terms of in proximity of people, but
That's the part I'm bummed about. I
yeah,
love that Willow, like, and my shop's even closer. My shop's only about an hour away from there. So when
yeah,
I was leaving from there to do testing, I could, head up there, drive, be back that afternoon, no big deal. Usually the traffic was going the opposite direction, so like I never sat in traffic on the way there. It was it's kind of been the home. I mean, I was there for the first drift event ever at Willow, which was at the balcony of Just Drift, way back in the day. And I remember Charlie, like maybe a few events after that, he said, I'm going to go test another track here, and grabbed me and this guy Henry, who was an excellent driver as well, drove like a bright pink FC. And so it was me and Henry and Charlie, and we all went up to test up this new track, which happened to be Horse Thief. So we were the first 3 to ever drive on Horse Thief, and make it see if it was a viable drift track. Other than Suchiya, because Suchiya did his Drift King guy, he did his Drift 102 there, I think it was, in an option video. So he actually drove it the opposite direction, which was kind of weird. But yeah, it's kind of just been the home, at least my home for drifting for that had to be 2005, maybe late 2004 when we did that, when Just Drift started going there. So I mean, you're talking 20 years of my life that I've been heading up to Willow to go drifting, and to see that possibly disappear is just a bummer. And the fact that the track is still there, and it's still, Horsey's still there, balcony's still there, the oval's still there. If that just completely disappears, to me it just becomes another one of those designer tracks that just will never allow drifting, like the Thermal Club or like Chuckawalla or things like that. So hopefully they wise up, and hopefully it's just a temporary thing, and we can get back to burning tires up at Willow, because that is sort of my personal mecca for motorsports in general. I've driven every single track there, from the kart track to the big track to streets to both ovals to Horse Thief. I've driven everything, off-roaded on the off-road trails on my dirt bike, that they rent out as well. Like that place is it's a wicked cool facility, and if they stop doing that, I'm going to be pretty mad about it. Send them a very angrily worded email that will go nowhere.
Yeah,
there you go.
Tough.
Yeah.
I've always wondered. There's so many different reasons that even drifters would lose access to a track and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always tough when you see stuff like what happened with Slant Enough
Mm-hmm.
last weekend. It's like,
you
knew it was coming, and
Mm-hmm.
honestly, they got what they deserve.
Yeah.
But it just sucks because it affects everyone else.
Yeah, it does.
And, like, we've had a scenario up here in Michigan that affected what tracks we could go to.
Mm-hmm.
They associate people doing, like, donuts and stuff in the street to a drifter, and that's a totally different thing.
Yeah, they see that
people, but people
something,
don't know that,
Yeah, that they don't want to support or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If I personally owned Willow, I wouldn't have made the additions, at least to the streets, at all, because a lot of car commercials are shot there, and a lot of times they'll CGI in the lines to make it look like it was on a public, canyon road or something like that. And if you're shooting streets of Willow and you're facing up the hill, getting a few corners in, if you can get rid of the berms and throw a center line on there, like that looks like any road in, desert.
Yep.
California, Arizona, wherever. So like it was easy for them to go up there and shoot stuff. And because I've seen, Horse Thief, I've seen Streets, I've seen a ton of car commercials that have those in there, and they literally make it look like they're on a regular road somewhere. And I don't think they can do that anymore with all the, brightly colored paint and runoff and tire barriers they put in. So, I'm interested to see, how much of it, because it was always kind of Hollywood's racetrack, whenever they need to shoot something, they shot, the whole bunch of movies have been shot there. A bunch of celebrities have driven there.
How far away is it from Hollywood? It's only like
about an hour and a half, maybe 2 or so, depending on which way you go. I think it's actually not that bad, because you could head up the 170 to the 210 to the 14. No traffic under an hour and a half if you weren't towing.
Not bad,
So it's
yeah.
it's super close, and
For a private closed course to be able to shoot whatever, do whatever
Yeah.
you kind of want to, in a sense. Yeah.
yeah, you're not going to find anything cheaper in the vicinity. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. I just don't want it to be a designer sort of private country club like experience, because those usually exclude drifting. It's the same
Yeah.
thing when I was into snowboarding. When snowboarding first hit the mountains, there was a ton of mountains that just didn't allow it.
Right.
And gave it a few more years, and there's a lot more snowboarders than there are skiers in the world. So
Right.
Exactly.
it's we'll see where the times take us, basically.
Yeah. No, I'm hopeful though. Honestly, like I said, and the cool part about drifting is you don't need a race course to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited about what FD's got coming. Whenever they're flying me out for this Long Beach, but them bringing me in as their designer, I'm supposed to be designing some new things for these guys for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting. Obviously,
Yeah,
you can't tell
don't
us,
dox
but
yourself.
I
Yeah,
was
don't.
gonna
don't
say,
yeah, don't,
Yeah, I know, right?
You're not allowed us to because
He's still figuring out this whole live stream podcast thing. He
I
doesn't
know.
know what he
Yeah.
can. For me, I just say whatever the fuck I want to.
Yeah. Well, Herbie doesn't really have anything to lose, so it's all good.
I do actually have things to lose now, buddy. Actually, thank you very
That's
much.
fucked up.
Yeah,
That's
you
real
know,
fucked up.
fuck this guy.
No, but again, I just want to say thank you guys for everyone that came on, and it's
Okay,
nice
man.
Herbie finally show up, but it's it's all good.
I'm sorry.
Just
I had
buddy,
to go
love you.
pick some up from Yogi's house, and then I got back and we put it together. Well, actually, it's a mobile TV cart. We got a TV yesterday. Fucking,
That's cute.
it's a chunky boy, dude. This is a big bitch, 70 something inches, and not that I'm counting. But put that baby together, and then we had to do a shoot real quick for Bradley, and I was like, damn. And then like we had another fun idea for the shoot. I was like, oh man, I'm like, sorry, Nate.
It's all good. I'm just giving you shit. Buddy, 'cause I can't. All right. But we have hit our time, and I just wanted to say, like I said, thank you guys for coming on. Geronimo. I just
You got it.
wrong.
This guy's crazy.
Yeah. Geronimo. Yeah.
Geronimo?
Man just had a little bit of a stroke.
Dominoes.
Yeah, man.
I had to think about it. I was like,
Domino's
wait,
pizza?
how is it spelled again? That's right.
Yeah, yeah. Will Holloway called me Geronimo for the longest time.
Oh
Like,
my
bro.
gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
The only reason I knew it was Geronimo is because like you hear obviously it's like a saying or something, right? Geronimo when you jump or
Yeah,
something.
Geronimo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know what that's from, but
I think it was the name of a Native American.
Yeah, he was an Apache.
Yeah, there you go.
yeah, that's interesting. But what what you got going on, man? I'm sorry, I'm so bad at outros. I'm not gonna lie. It always takes.
So,
Yeah, it's bad.
just design work.
Don't tell us you're not anything that you're not allowed to tell us.
Yeah, I know, right? I have to watch what I say for sure.
I think I know a part of it. Have you guys talked about a certain track in a certain Midwest state that you guys are thinking about going to?
They are waiting for me to get out there before they let me know. Like,
Oh, okay.
I've been trying to get it out of them. They're like, well, no, we're going to spend that. Like, well, we're going to spend some time together. You,
Yeah.
Ryan, Kevin Wells, and Brian Olford. We're going to sit down and spend a day together. But you're our guy. You're our designer. And we got a lot to talk about when you get out
Nice.
here. I'm like, all right.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, brother.
Heck yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what you conjure up. Clearly, it's already great. I mean, I'm thoroughly enjoying driving this course. It is a
Man,
blast.
Thank
So,
you. That's awesome to hear. But
It's
brother,
aesthetically pleasing too, which is like first and foremost, like all VDC shit this year was very nice. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like, because you load in, and the first thing is like, wow, there's actual like texture on the trees, and
Yes, thank you for knowing how to texture a track,
like,
Geronimo. I really do appreciate that.
yeah,
You
it
know,
looks
I
good.
really appreciate that.
Yeah, I know, right? Rome was big on that one too, man. He was like, and because Sim's all about visual, you know. So like,
Mhm.
I got to give it, you know, at least give you boys something that you can work with. So
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure, like, if you gave me a game or a sim that was just like the cars were just two squares, but it had the best fucking physics in the world, I'd say, wow, this is actually really cool. But then my replayability would be 0
right,
because I don't want to look at that. I want to look at pretty things while I suck. Like, is
same
that
here,
too much?
brother. That's why I rely on Brandon and Spirit, like Gardner and Patrick and O'Sullivan and Hines and Craig and all the VDC guys, man. They do all the fancy driving and tell me what I need to change. I think that's why I'm successful at what I do, is because I don't get offended about any of that stuff. I'm like, y'all tell me what I'm sucking at, and I'll make it better for you.
Yep.
And those
And
Which
guys
is also
definitely,
really great that you're able to take criticism, like constructive criticism, and like, you know, internalize it and then make changes that make sense for you to do. That's also really great because a lot of people can't do that. They get offended really easily. So
oh brother, in this
props to you on
environment,
that as
Yeah,
well.
don't criticize Brandon. He'll get it's bad.
Whoa. Let's
Look, you
relax.
criticized him. Take it easy.
Hey, man.
Yeah, you should have seen what he did to my last PC, man. Barely runs now.
What'd I do?
He's only
Broke
had
it,
one
man.
PC. Don't let him fool you.
Oh, yeah.
Don't give in to
It's
him.
true.
He's
I
only
see.
had one PC.
I know. Yeah. If you break this PC, that will be questionable.
I got a hammer.
Hey, true.
Just keep the GPU safe because now the resale value on the GPU is basically what he spent on the PC. So
Are we serious right now?
yeah, 4090 is. Well, no, not really. It's like
Not
$2,000.
really. No. Still.
All right,
$2,000.
Andy, what do you got
Anywho.
going on, buddy?
I'm probably gonna do my emails that I haven't done yet for the Salt Lake event. Send them out to all my sponsors and all that. And I don't know if I have time to head down tonight, but man, I really want to go drive the Long Beach track after this.
I know there's a ton
To
of
be honest.
ACS guys getting on right now. They're
Yeah,
all
it was almost too crowded for the past couple days. Like I kept on trying to get into the main lobby, and like the E46 would either always be used or there'd be like 18 people in there, and then you're just waiting in line the entire time to do it. The first night I got on, I didn't join the main one. I joined a different one, and there was only like 4 or 5 of us, and I actually had some great laps. But I joined the heavily populated server that you guys have up right now last night and did quite a few laps, and it was a good time.
Is this
Just
one
to-
with the password on it?
No, this is like the
Okay.
whatever I'm just finding in the. I just searched Long Beach and it would come up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you know, like all the FD drivers, we made a server just for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Every time I'd hop in there would be nobody in there, so it wasn't. I haven't seen anybody using that yet. It'd be nice to hop on Discord and like kind of coordinate some times to do that. I would definitely be there for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, tandeming with any, a lot of the guys in those servers are pretty damn good. I always come across someone who's pretty darn good, who can push my limits and make me make mistakes and make me improve on myself. It's just like, it's frustrating when when it's unpredictable and you hop in and someone makes a huge mistake on the first corner. You guys both crash out and then you just go hop in line again. But I mean, it's a lot more frustrating in real life when that happens, I guess. So,
Hey, would you be interested in doing we used to have this comp, like, it was called Pros versus Joes.
Mhm.
Jeff and Roma have done one, like,
Yeah.
where we just host this thing, like it's a comps open to anybody, but they get to come drive with you. And we have like you be in the VC. We need to set that up, man. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I'm way down, man. Yeah. I could send you a link to my card and we can make it happen. And then, if I lose, I owe the guy a cheeseburger.
Yeah. We always do something fun like that. Like, that'd be awesome.
Hell yeah.
You said
Cool.
you got fun comps?
Yeah, I just had a pop-up comp the other night.
Oh,
and
I did see that you posted. I need to need to follow you.
Yeah, and
Is
Rudy
that-
Hansen came on like 30 minutes before the comp, and it was just a pop-up fun thing. And I was like, Rudy, can I say, like the guys that coming in, they're going to drive with you or compete against you? He's like, dude, yeah, go for it, man. And everybody was stoked to meet Rudy. Like,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
just a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm down.
That'd be awesome, man.
Yeah,
let's
I
put it
would
up.
I would blow it on there. Not a problem.
Yeah, brother, come drive. It'll be
Listen,
fun.
easy first one in, first one out.
Yeah, you gotta start somewhere though, right?
Yep.
I challenge Herbie.
Top 32 exit is my go-to every time, baby. That's
Brother, I think our first one, man, like people like of Gardner's caliber, like Brandon Patrick was there. We all knew we're like, this fucking game over, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
like what the hell would I be doing there? That was like not my first comp, but I did a comp and on my Logitech, sitting 7 feet away from my 27-inch monitor, and I'm up against it was one of the Shadow Realm guys, Bun Shiesty.
yeah.
And I knew him online. Like we have done many laps before. And I was like, this is over. This is so over. And I actually almost had him, but I fucking clipped his door where he did a clean chase, and I was like, damn, bro, damn.
It's like normal guys and like novice drivers. I always want to tell Craig, you guys have no idea how much. Like there is a whole shitload of people that want to drive against those VDC guys just to see what, I think we had one comp one year and it was like O'Sullivan and Brandon Patrick were there. People just of course, it ended up being those two going at it, but people turned out like crazy to try to
take
throw a
him
line
down.
Yeah.
This goes back to the underdog type thing. You want to be that underdog to take down these giants of even the sim world. But I mean, most of the time, even when I'm online, you don't even feel the pressure in the lead from the guy in the chase. I could count on like two hands per like an hour session of how many times I actually see the guy that's in the chase like right on my door. And when I do, it's like, oh shit, like he's gonna hit me, and like then I adjust my line because I'm an idiot. Whereas like I don't have like the practice to like have the confidence that they have to stop doing what they got to do for me. But
yeah, it's crazy, man. That's funny you say that. Like one of my good friends and homies, Murky, BDC Murky, like we were driving with Jeff Jones the other night, and Murky came on, and he's like, this is the first time he's ever driven with Jeff. He's like, bro, I was so nervous in the lead with Jeff behind me, and I thought like I did a good job. And I asked Jeff, he's like, yeah, I don't know, you kind of bobbled a little bit. He's like, God, man, that was crazy. But yeah, that pressure, it's real.
It's something. Yeah. VDC guys got it.
Well, I did try to end the stream like 20 minutes ago, but it's all good. You guys are
terrible.
I'm enjoying this. You guys should go check out Geronimo.
Yeah,
this guy.
Geronimo.
You can just call me Gmo. That's what everybody else calls me.
Where would they find out about the comps and stuff? What's the best way to do that?
Join ACS Drift. We'll make an announcement in the Discord server, or I'll make a post on Instagram like 2-3 days before. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I mean that's always it's always fun when it's the pop-ups, because you never know who's going to show up. But
yeah, it's
awesome.
It's been fun.
All
Might
right,
have
Brandon,
to take
Herbie.
down a big dog like me.
And everyone was so afraid. All right, Herbie, give me a little outro real quick. What's going on?
You want me to end the show, or you want me to tell you what I'm doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing, buddy? Because we still got to talk about Boundless Racing. The most important person here.
That's
perfect products. Right?
Well, we could say
the plug.
The allegations from pre-show last week have been beaten. It was a scam after all.
Let's
give
go.
A big round of applause. Ended up,
it's inside joke. That
She's
probably
back
will never
on
become a real
Tinder.
joke.
She's
There we
back
go.
on Tinder, searching around for her next potential
I'm proud of you.
victim. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta just be that close to the bullet to understand that you're a fucking retard. So, well, I was that close. So, anyways, that's number one. Congrats to myself. Shooting ropes. Number two is we have a fun little thing going on at the studio this weekend. Can't exactly say what it is yet because it's not up to me to say. It's gonna be a last minute post of like, here it is. Anyways, we got
Really good
that.
at selling this.
Well, I don't know.
that was
Again,
great,
like,
dude. That was
it's gonna-
awesome. I'm so pumped.
Oh, all right. Well, it's actually I'm excited for it, genuinely. It's gonna be cool to have like a shindig at the studio. So looking forward
There
to
you
that.
go.
And then then just old Long Beach and then the banquet and try not to make a complete ass out of myself.
Oh, brother, I'll be at the banquet. Yeah.
I'm gonna be fucking trashed.
Hell yeah.
Like, I'm gonna respectfully indulge in a few brewskis.
Hell yeah.
There we go.
And you got two hands, so you might as well have two at a time. So
There we go.
otherwise, next up is Brandon Gardner. What do you have
Oh, yeah.
going on here?
You know,
Let's go,
working,
Mr. Perfect
doing the
PC.
thing. Perfect what now?
Perfect PC. Even though you just replaced one.
Oh, did you get?
did.
Did you get a new one?
I did, yes. So I got a PC and the case was shattered, like all the glass, nearly cut myself. So I went back. That's why I was late and had to go replace it. Yeah, we got some cool builds going this weekend. If you go check out the Instagram at Boundless Racing, we got two pretty cool builds we're delivering this weekend. If my boy Nelson lets me, I'm going to try to drive at Lanier as much as possible before it shuts down in his E90. But yeah, that's all I really got going on. And then testing for VDC, figuring out this new data because it's
Did you choose
different.
the chassis yet? Are you allowed to say?
Yeah, I did.
Mustang.
I did. No, it's not. I thought about it, but there's a lot of them this year, and I just, and there's RTR themselves represent themselves. I feel weird if I drive an S650, so I just would rather not drive a Mustang. So
Did you go to the field direction? Yeah.
the issue with that is something's wrong with the how they did the suspension with dual wishbone cars, so you just can't get any grip out of it. So it just kind of sucks, So
Has it always
think of
been like that?
route. Nope.
Oh.
That's how the Z was, and it was fine, and now it's not. Now it's just dumb slow, no matter what I try to do. So that's awesome. But
All right.
The Corvette
Yeah.
slow now too.
yeah, that's slow now too.
That was fun car, man. I like that
That's-
one in the 4.0 pack.
It's fun. Like, it's really easy to drive. It's just like when you got people like Zach who he has great throttle control and can just drive away, and you have to have something that's a little quick. Like, that car won't do it because he'll just drive away from you. He'll just dig away from you.
BMW time
Fucking
again.
Zach. He used to do
Yeah.
that to me on Forza, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's where I first saw him was on Forza. Every time I hopped in a lobby with him, I was like, oh, he's gonna freaking walk me again in that little S13.
Yeah, and that S13, and now he's in his car, and
Mm-hmm.
I was testing last night, and it was just a couple nights ago, and he was just walking me everywhere, and I'm like, I was getting pissed. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I switched motors 3 times because I'm gonna probably drive the same car as him, and I switched. So the motor he has is like stupid powerful, right? And then I'm like he could control it, and I was in it, and no matter what I do, I just blow the tires off. I'm like, okay, so I switched motors like 3 times. It got a little better, but it's still not where I want it, like how it was like a couple years ago where it was fine, and now I'm on the struggle bus right now, and it's not fun.
I got to talk Craig into letting me try that data.
Yeah, what's up with that, Brandon?
It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah,
A lot
well,
more.
I'm
lot
more of
more
a
fast.
hands-on learner.
Yeah, you can't do that. not yet. Not yet. So
Actually, something I was talking. Oh, sorry, I know I was trying to end this, but I thought it was a really fun conversation that we had before the show with Geronimo was Assetto Corsa Evo, and
that game's dead in the water. That shit's not going anywhere.
yeah, and
That's basically what I told him. Yeah.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
is there ever gonna be the chance that they use that? And like Geronimo was telling me, like if you guys could use it, like it would be improve a lot of things.
Oh yeah, the tire model's way better. You can
Yeah.
get more like suspension movement out of things, and like, you know, anti-squat works better. Everything works just so much better. It's just they closed the game again, where it's, I think Assetto is, unless something else comes out where it's more open, Assetto's the end game at this point. Like
Yeah.
there's the community development for an 11-year-old game and it constantly evolving is fantastic, and it's like its own separate game at this point.
Right.
You know?
Mhm.
If you want to do competitive racing, you go to iRacing. If you like,
Yeah.
and even on Assetto, you can download or
Yeah.
find so many different things, and there's so many leagues out
And you
there
can-
that I don't even know about.
Yeah, and you can make everything. I mean, shit, like for some of my clients for my simulator builds, if they have an actual car, I'll like replicate their car into a Assetto, and they're like mind blown by it. I'm like, yeah, 11-year-old game, it's crazy, you know?
Mhm.
So it's just that's the end game. We thought Evo was going to be different, but it's just Assetto Corsa Competizione with some street cars and the Nürburgring, and that's about it. You know,
Mhm. If it doesn't
Kinda
have
sucks.
dinosaurs, I don't want it.
That's it.
I'm
That
with
video
you.
that
I'm
you
with you
put up the
there.
other day was hilarious with like the evolution or whatever,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
what you would
yeah.
think that it is, and it's just a dinosaur. What, there was something, you had a bunch of just silly things.
Yeah, I was racing a helicopter, a guy in a go-kart, a lawnmower, and a dinosaur, all in
Yeah.
the same race.
Yeah.
Can't do that anywhere else.
You
No.
really can't.
Yeah.
No.
So
On a Mario Kart track, I should add too.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
It was on Rainbow Road.
That's cool. Yeah, that's fun.
Oh,
All right,
shit.
guys. Well, this was a fun one. It's a fun episode. Went extra late, but you know what?